Come on, Steve!
Le reste de la compétition n'arrive pas à répliquer. Stephen Evans is in second place and he's trying to get to him. He might get him.
Go, Steve! Let's go, Steve!
Stephen Evans from the Ottawa GG.
Alright, so I'm really excited today because today I get to do an interview with my friend Stephen Evans over here. Stephen Evans runs in the 800. That's one of his strongest events. It's really exciting because when I started track and field last season, I was able to run like even better than I had run before, and not having as much experience as I wanted to have, he was able to take me to that next level. He had little tricks and little things that he told me here and there, and I used them time and time again, and it made me better. So this season I kind of stuck a little bit closer to him, and I thought, you know what, the right thing to do would be doing an interview with Stephen Evans. So I'd like to introduce him. Here he is, my man, Stephen Evans. I have a few questions that I'm going to ask him after this interview, but I'd like Stephen to start off by telling you a little bit about himself and about what he does here at the track.
All right. Thanks for having me. First of all,
Yeah,
looking
no
forward to
problem.
being here. And Neil has that very nice introduction. And the reality is, I can't be that. I'm not that buddy with everyone. There's a lot of haters, right? So to have a nice guy like him by my side, it goes a long way. It goes a really long way. So quick introduction. I started off track as a cross training for hockey, and I wasn't very good at track and field. In fact, I was so bad. Everyone was beating me. Literally, I was running grade 9 and 10, or like at starter lines, and I wouldn't even make it out of the East Cities. I was the worst. But then I started doing it a little bit more and more, and I said, oh, this is kind of fun. I started getting better. And then I did it for university, only because the University of Ottawa was the only team that asked me to join them. I was still playing hockey. I didn't fully dedicate myself until I was 19 when I was doing track, which is very late for the sport. But when I was 18, I was doing a 600 when my season ended. I'd come around, I was 4th place, third place, second, and I was looking down the line, I was like, you know what? I could take that guy down. That was close. I could take that guy down for the last one. So I leaned over, won the race, and I was a little 18-year-old kid. I was so excited, I jumped up, like, woo! And then I was like, wait a sec. If I could do that, only training a couple days a week, what happens if I actually take this seriously? So as things progressed, I did as well. I won silver medal in provincials in 2018 and in the youth sports. Then coming back 2019, I was the champion for OUAs in the 1K and the 600, and then the youth sports champion in Winnipeg this past year in 2019. Right, and then my current 800 personal best is 148.90. This year, hoping to make it to Tokyo. That's the goal. Sacrificing 9 to 5 hours. Sacrificing the day job to be here to make this happen. So I'm 100% dialed in, and I know it's possible. So that's my introduction. Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. Okay, so I do have some questions that I wanted to ask Stephen Evans. Quick, find him first.
Absolutely.
Found him. Okay. So he did answer some of the questions, but I'm going to ask some of them again. Hopefully, I'll get a different response that'll give a little bit more details about where he's coming from. So you did answer the question I was going to ask. How did you find track and field and your respective events? So he did answer that.
Mm-hmm.
My second question is, how long did it take you before you realized that you were a force to be reckoned with in the 800? So he did answer that as well. He said it started off 1st place, 2nd place, 3rd, and he's just like, when he jumped in the air and said, yeah, I got this race, he's like, you know what?
That was it. But you know what? I can't add to both of those because I started off in the 400.
Okay.
So I was a 4 guy, and for high schoolers, lots of people start there. I didn't make it to OFSA until grade 12, and I came 17th. I was nowhere close to the podium. It was actually one of my old coaches that said, hey, this 800 thing, this is more you. And I said, no way, absolutely not, never. Screw that. I don't want to do this mileage. I don't want to do this short rest. I don't want to do all this. It's too hard. And then I did it when I was 18. I still kind of hated it. Broke my toe in 2nd year, walked into a wall, long story. Maybe we'll get to it another day. Anyways, I was totally sober. Walked into a wall in Florida training camp. Anyway, so that was the year. So we still didn't do a whole lot of running then. And then it was the next year. I said, wait a sec. You know, we got this type of speed here. You know, maybe if I train for the 800, maybe I'll actually like it. And then I started to get hooked solely when I realized there was some potential there. So it wasn't always an 8. We started off with the 400, and then here we are.
Nice. Okay, so my third question would be, without giving away any names, how many athletes do you actively support? Or
probably upwards of 20, I'd say.
Up to 20 athletes,
20
okay.
to 25.
Nice.
And a lot of times it's little things. A lot of times it's just, hey Steven, is it normal if my shin is sore when I do this? You know, and I do my best, because along with what I believe is knowing how to be successful, I've experienced a lot in a lot of like injuries, racing. So I'd say there's probably, let's say, about 25, you know, day-to-day things. But there's probably half of that where it gets in a lot more depth. And the thing is too, I can only socialize and get in depth with so many people, because a lot of people, it's over their heads. A lot of people, you try to say something and they don't get it,
right.
or they get offended when you say, hey, you probably shouldn't do that.
That's right.
But there are quite a few, and it's humbling, because you know, there's a lot of haters. So when someone comes and tries to be polite and says, hey, I look up to you, I need the help, you almost don't realize it's there, because you get so caught up in how much you look up to other people. Sometimes
correct,
you forget that there's people that want to learn from you.
That want to learn.
So
from
it not only is it inspiring, but it's heartwarming even. You know, it makes a big difference knowing that you can help someone else other than yourself.
Yeah, I took a lot away from the little things that you had mentioned to me. So my fourth question would be, how many years have you been competitive and proactive in track and field? I mean, that also includes volunteer work as well.
Yep. I'd say, thinking back, probably since I was 18, I'm 23 now, it's probably about 5 years.
5 years,
5 years
okay.
is when I kind of started, because in high school I was just doing the summers, it was a side thing. Even first year university was a side thing, but that's when I started volunteering. I go back to my old high school, St. Peter's.
So these are 5 competitive years.
Yeah, you know what, I'd say even 4.5, because the first year I was still playing hockey.
Okay.
So I haven't really been dialed in that long.
Wow,
But
that's a short period of time.
Very
you've been
short.
in it, and you're only 24, so
yeah. So
this should be exciting over the next 2-3 years. Are going to be exciting.
yeah, it will be. You heard it here first. I've been very dialed in since then. But so it became my thing when I was 19. So that'd been 2015, 2016-ish. But that was the year I broke my toe, so I couldn't compete in indoors. I was all dialed up, I was getting ready to roll. So, oh man, this is the year, no more hockey, make things happen. And that's when I broke my toe. And that was hard, man. I mean, I don't cry a lot, but I cried a lot that day. When I found out from the x-ray guys that, oh man, your toe's stuck. I was terrified, I was destroyed, because that was my first year.
Yeah.
So that year you learned a lot. I learned a lot from watching people, because you had two things to do.
And being injured, you kind of want to take, you still want to be a part, even when you're injured, you still want to be a part of the process.
You
don't want to tap out or walk away. You still want to be active.
You have two options. You can listen to the negative voice or listen to the positive voice. So there are some things I've done when I was a teenager, I look back on, I'm like, man, what were you thinking? But that was one of the things when I was a teenager, I said, looking back, saying, wow, that was good. I took the positive. I said, okay, well, if I'm not racing and training, I can learn. I can say, what does a successful person do? Is that going to work for me? How is this person in their mindset? So it was everything about learning at that stage, and that's one big step I took.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. So my fifth question would be, what are 3 things about track and field that puts a smile on your face?
Yeah.
I like this one because now I get to hear
hanging out with my buddies.
Now I get to hear 3 things that makes him excited about track.
Yeah. Well, the friendships is easy. That's number one.
Oh yeah, for
hanging
sure.
out with
The
people.
camaraderie, definitely.
Camaraderie's huge. And the people you make, not just the athletes, but the coaches too. The coaches are all amazing. I've made lifelong friends here. That's definitely number one. That's definitely number one. Although when I'm here and I'm working out, I don't really socialize. Friendships are number one. Number 2, winning. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here.
Winning.
Winning. People,
getting them W's.
You know, a lot of people do things. They're like, "Oh, I'm here to like build my self-esteem," and that's all great, and I got nothing against that. But I'm here to win. I'm here to make things
yo.
happen, make teams, win medals. Set
I'm in
records.
compliance with that. Like,
Yeah, put that here, man.
I want to take some wins. Man.
That's why. That's the number one reason. Number two reason I'm here. That's
for
it.
sure, for sure. And what's number 3?
Yeah, that's tough. Tough to look back. Remember when I was sports psych, we were trying to figure out, why does being the best matter so much to you?
Who doesn't like a challenge though?
Yeah, that's and you can kind of couple that with winning.
I mean, like
I'd couple that with winning, but if I were to put a number 3, I think it's the athleticism of it and the mixture of the physical and mental challenge. Because yes, you got to work hard. I love working out. So I love the athleticism. I love the drive. I love you can take a day off and go easy, but you're not going to be great. So definitely the athleticism part. But when I say the athleticism, I count the mental very much because the mental part is equally as important as the physical part.
Yeah, it's definitely the body, as I have learned over the years. It's always wants to take a break, and I mean, the mind has to be the driving force behind what you want to achieve physically, and to be mentally dialed in, especially when you have 5,000 people that are going to be doing almost the same thing you are, and out of those 5,000 people, you want to be number 1.
That's it.
That's not something you take lightly. You need a strong mind and a strong will at the steering wheel. There's days where your body's like, listen, I don't want to do this, and then your psyche is saying, well, you're doing this, and that'll be the difference between first, second, or third place.
Exactly, and even then, you look at it. Okay, maybe I win the university championships, I win U Sports, but then I said, hey, that's still not that good. There's still all these other people better than you, so that goes to what you're saying. There's still all those other hurdles you gotta get over.
Oh yeah, you definitely have to be dialed in mentally and physically, and you have to be willing to push the bar to take it to that next level. So I'm glad you mentioned that. That's awesome. Without giving away too much, what do you have in store for 2020? Goals, challenges, etc.
I like it.
And that's the last question.
That's the last question?
Yeah, what do you have in store for 2020? Goals, challenges, etc. What you got?
2020?
Without giving away too much.
Well, I'll give it away right away. Trying to make the Olympic team. Trying to go to Tokyo 2020. That's the number 1 goal. 95% of people are going to look at me and say I'm absolutely crazy, and they're right, I am. if that's your goal,
you got to have a little crazy.
You got to have a little crazy. And it's a huge goal, especially coming from where I'm coming from. A lot of people are a lot closer than I am, but I don't care about that. I don't care. That's what you're going to learn. Nobody knows what you're talking about. The only opinion that matters is yours and your coaches. So that'd be number 1 for sure. That's absolutely my biggest one. But another objective I have, and this is one that a lot of athletes I think miss out on, don't think about too much, is keeping my foot in the door for my career at the same time. Because my career after track and field is still going to be extremely important. So it's very hard to find a middle ground and say, okay, track's still my priority, but I still want this career-oriented work. So that's the balance of saying, well, track's definitely the priority, but how can I still do this work thing? So that is kind of a secondary goal for me, because number 1 is the Olympics, but number 2 is I still got to be prepared when I'm done the sport. And you never know when that is. Maybe it's tomorrow. Maybe I break my foot and I'm never coming back. Very unlikely, but you never know. So you need to be ready, and that's my secondary goal.
Yeah, so you're completely dialed into the track life, but you're also making sure that your priorities for a successful career is also still engaged in that process. So definitely, you can't put all your eggs in one basket. But I have to say that with the determination and with the psyche that I notice you have, it is quite clear that you're determined to make the Olympic team.
Thank you very much.
And at the moment, everything else is going to have to take a back seat to this goal. But he knows that, as an athlete, and especially myself having 2 different businesses, I definitely have other priorities as well. But once we get on the track, you're all in. You have to be 100% dialed in. So you're dialed into this.
Fair warning.
All right, cool. Steven Evans, man, it was awesome. Thank you for doing this interview.
For having me, man.
WellFedd, fitness training never ends.